You're looking for a TV that will actually make life easier, something that delivers the picture you expect without forcing you into a tech support nightmare, that fits in your living room without stealing the show, and that feels like a solid purchase rather than a gamble on a long feature list. That hesitation you feel when you stare at the sea of 70-plus-inch screens is real, especially when the price tag is high enough to make you double-check every claim. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's walk through why the LG 83-inch OLED B5 might be the answer to those worries, and where it could still trip you up. First off, the size alone changes the whole viewing dynamic. An 83-inch panel isn't just big, it transforms a standard living room into a mini theater. The moment you stand back a couple of feet, the screen fills your field of vision, which makes movies feel immersive and games feel like you're inside the action. That's the main draw for anyone who already has a decent source of 4K Blu-ray player, a next-gen console, or a decent streaming setup, and wants the display to do the heavy lifting. If you're still watching on a 40-inch set, the jump to 83 inches will be a night and day difference. What really sets this LG apart is the OLED technology. The panel can turn each pixel off completely, giving you those deep, inky blacks that LCDs just can't match. In practical terms, you'll notice the contrast jump during a dark thriller or a sci-fi film. Shadow detail stays visible, and you never get that gray smear around bright objects. The color accuracy is also spot on straight out of the box, thanks to the Alpha 8 AI processor Gen 2, which analyzes every frame and makes micro-adjustments. For everyday TV watching, that means you won't have to spend an hour in calibration menus. The picture looks natural whether you're binge watching a sitcom or watching a nature documentary. Dolby Vision and HDR10 support add extra punch to compatible content. In the real world, that translates to brighter highlights and more nuanced colors when you stream a Netflix original or watch a UHD Blu-ray. Dolby Atmos, paired with the built-in speakers, provides a surprisingly decent surround effect for a TV that doesn't have a separate soundbar. I tried it with a recent game launch. The explosions felt like they were moving around the room, and dialogue stayed crystal clear. It's not a replacement for a dedicated home theater system, but it's a solid all-in-one solution for apartments or for people who don't want to deal with extra wiring. The smart side runs on WebOS 23, and the AI integration is more than a buzzword. The voice remote works with Alexa, so you can dim the lights, turn on your smart thermostat, or ask for the weather without leaving the couch. The interface itself is clean, you get a row of your favorite streaming apps, and the AI suggestions adapt to what you watch most. The only hiccup is that the app library isn't as exhaustive as some competitor platforms. A few niche streaming services are missing, so if you rely on a very specific app, double-check its availability before you buy. Gaming is another practical angle. The ultimate gaming tag isn't just marketing fluff. The TV supports a 120 Hz refresh rate and HDMI 2.1 features like variable refresh rate, VRR, and auto low latency mode, ALLM. When I plugged in an Xbox Series X, the input lag was negligible, under 10 milliseconds, and there was no screen tearing in fast-paced shooters. The AI upscaling also helps older 1080p titles look sharper, so you get a consistent experience across your library. If you're a casual gamer, you'll probably never notice the difference, but for serious players the low latency is a real benefit. Now for the hidden trade-offs. An OLED of this size draws a noticeable amount of power, especially when displaying bright, static content for long periods. That's not a problem for most movies or TV shows, but if you plan to use it as a digital signage board or keep a bright news ticker on all day, you may see some image retention over time. LG mitigates this with a pixel shift function that moves the image imperceptibly, but it's something to be aware of if you're a heavy-use office environment. The physical installation can be a bit of a chore. The stand that comes with the B5 is sturdy enough, but the base is wide, so you'll need a fairly deep media console. Wall mounting is definitely the cleaner look, but the TV weighs over 100 pounds, so you'll need a professional to handle the mount and the wiring. The thin bezel is gorgeous, but it also means the edges are more vulnerable to accidental bumps during installation. If you're a DI enthusiast, be prepared to allocate a couple of hours and perhaps a friend to help lift it safely. Who should buy this? If you already have a solid source of high-quality content, and you crave a cinematic experience without adding a separate sound system, this TV hits the sweet spot. It's perfect for families that watch movies together, gamers who